As you look through all of the smart people and what they're saying about the Lions draft, it's almost overwhelmingly that it was a fantastic draft for the Lions. Almost everybody is giving them an A grade, A minus, A plus. I've been listening to a ton of people, a ton of podcasts, reading a ton of articles, but sometimes there are certain picks that you fall in love with more than others. And in this video, I want to be talking about a defensive lineman that the Detroit Lions took. And honestly, I believe it was the only defensive lineman. So they take this guy, and we are going to learn a little bit more about him because I truly believe this guy could end up getting like third round value out of a sixth round draft pick. I truly believe that he has the ability to do it. So, without further, let's go ahead and take a look at this guy, Mekhi Wingo. There you see him at Missouri. He only played 1 year there, and he transferred over to LSU. So he has played the last 2 years at LSU. Why is this significant? All right, the question is, why is this significant? And the answer, honestly, is pretty simple. LSU had a garbage defense. Like, here's the thing. Brian Kelly comes over there, and their offense takes off with Jane Daniels. Things are going a lot better, but their defense does the exact opposite, and it kind of turns into garbage. So you look at this guy, and you realize, like, he's putting up some decent numbers. He's been effective in this defense that, quite frankly, I don't think is well coached. I think he would have been better coached if he stayed at Missouri. But let's learn a little bit about who he is and how we got him and why I like it so much. We got him in pick 189. That is a sixth round pick. All right. That is usually where you're getting special teamers. Okay. And people that are trying to make the team. I think he will be a rotational player by the end of this year, and I think he has a good piece that it could honestly be a very good filler for us for many years to come. We gave up pick 205 and 249 to get him. Who cares? All right, we moved up, and we got a really good player. All right, here's what we hear from Dane Brugler's draft guide. His coaches rave about his work/practice habits. His work ethic earned him the 2022 Iron Tiger Award. Instead of packing it in and preparing for the NFL draft, he rehabbed his butt off to return for LSU's 2023 bowl game. This is a guy who only played in 8 games last year. He got hurt. And then he rehabs instead of just being like, all right, I'm going pro. I'm not going to play in the bowl game like every other college player does. What does he do? He says, nope, I'm going to rehab the crap out of this thing, and I'm going to play on my team's meaningless bowl game. They weren't in the college football playoff, and when you're at LSU, oftentimes it's SEC or bust, college playoff or bust. And he didn't care. He just wanted to play football. This is the kind of guy that we love in Detroit. This is the kind of guy that Brad Holmes drafts. This is the kind of guy that Dan Campbell loves. So let's talk about his size for a second, because I have a weird comparison for you, and I know everybody's trying to find the next Aaron Donald. And just to be clear, there is no next Aaron Donald. There is no next Aaron Donald. All right? But there's a couple of other things that we can be talking about. Fisk, right? Everybody was high on him because of what he did at the combine. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about Wingo. But he's 6 foot and he's 284 pounds. Like, you put that same body in a 6'3" frame, he's over 300. All right, I get it. He's undersized for a defensive tackle. His low center of gravity, when you watch the film, he does a good job. Oftentimes double teamed because he was the best D tackle on that team, I think. Yes, there was another probably more physically gifted player on that team, but Wingo was the better of the players as far as how he played. And he often got double teamed, and he held in well because he had that low center of gravity. It was really, really impressive. All right, yeah, you can be a 3-tech. Great. You put him next to Aleem McNeil, who's massive. You put him next to DJ Reader, who's massive. And at first, when I say I think he could be a rotational player by the end of the year, I think his pass rushing chops could be good enough. So why, oh why, did he fall back to the 6th round? It doesn't make sense. If you see this, Dane Brugler, who might be the best at what he does. He works for The Athletic. He had him as the 95th best prospect. Lance Zierlein had him with a 4th-round grade, and ESPN's Joe Reedham had him as the 90th prospect. Remember, the Lions got him at 189. And a lot of times the reason we get A grades from everybody is because Terrion Arnold was a huge value pick. Enos Rakestraw was a big value pick. He was. All right. And then it goes to Wingo. And then after that, Christian Mahogany. These are two guys that almost everywhere you looked were rated in the top 100. And by the way, Mekhi Wingo is known for his work ethic. Christian Mahogany is known for being just a mauler and a beast on the inside and just having that don't take any crap attitude. These are Lions guys. I don't know why some players fall. I don't. But I'm happy to take advantage of them when they do. And we went out there, and in the 6th round, I truly believe we got 2 guys that are going to be good. So I told you I wanted to talk about who Wingo is as an athlete. So when you think of people falling, right? When you think of people falling, you think to yourself, okay, well, he's not probably going to be as good of an athlete or whatever. No, he was an elite athlete. In fact, as far as all defensive tackle running, he was a 9.66. He's one of the fastest defensive tackles to ever run the 40. And I know what you're thinking. Well, how much does it matter for a defensive tackle to run the 40? What about the 10 and 20-yard split? What about that initial burst, that quickness off the line? He's got it. All right? He's got it. His bench press was just fine. All right? I would like to see him get a little bit better there. What killed him, what absolutely killed his RAS was simply his height and his weight. Look at that. Terrible. Very poor. Right? His arm length is, you want, for a defensive tackle, you want it above 33 inches. Most people say they won't draft an offensive tackle that has smaller than 34-inch arms. So 32, yeah, they're shorter, by that much, right? What are we talking about here? I understand that makes a difference, but by being short, by being quick, he has extremely violent, fast hands. All of these things make up for the fact that his arms are an inch shorter than you would like them to be. And that's what I'm saying. People get stuck on the numbers. They get stuck on the fact that he's 6 foot, so he's one of the shortest defensive tackles out there. People get stuck at 284. People get stuck at 284, and they can't get over it. They can't. They can't do it. And that's the thing for me that is just remarkable. Now, I'm going to show you another person's here. This is Aaron Donald, the best defensive tackle maybe to ever play football. Okay? Now, he didn't do the shuttle or 3-cone. That's where his agility is just unbelievable. But look at this. Look familiar? 6 foot, 285. So you're telling me a guy who's 6 foot, 285 can't have success in the NFL? His speed, his vertical and broad jump were actually very similar. By the way, 32.6, his arms are a half-inch longer. So don't sit here and tell me that you can't win with short arms. You absolutely can, and sometimes I think GMs just put way too much on that instead of going and looking at the actual numbers. 4.5 sacks in 8 games last year. All right, 4.5 sacks in 8 games last year. 25 tackles, 46 tackles the year before. He is a player who produces and is all over on the football field from the defensive tackle position. This is a win for the Detroit Lions, and this is how you get better and better. All right, thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one.